To escape poverty, stop these 7 things and listen. If you want to break free from poverty, it's not just about what you start doing. It's about what you stop doing. Because sometimes the habits holding you back aren't the ones you don't know about. It's the ones you've been practicing for years. The first thing you've got to stop is consuming without producing. Too many people live on survival mode, buying, spending, scrolling, watching, never creating, never producing, never multiplying what God put inside of them. If all you do is eat the fruit but never plant a seed, don't be surprised when your basket runs empty. Producers prosper because they add value, and value is what wealth chases. Second, you've got to stop making excuses. Excuses are the language of the broke. Every excuse sounds good until the bill collector calls. Excuses won't pay your rent, they won't feed your family, and they won't change your life. The moment you take full responsibility is the moment you take full authority over your future. Poverty feeds on blame, but prosperity grows on ownership. Third, you need to stop surrounding yourself with limited thinkers. Poverty is not just a lack of money, it's a lack of vision. If you hang around people who complain, who gossip, who stay broken mindset, they will keep you anchored at their level. But when you get around visionaries, dreamers, and builders, they pull you higher. Your environment either creates your poverty or cultivates your prosperity. Now, let me give you the truth. If you want to escape poverty, there are 4 more things you must stop. Stop spending before you earn. Stop fearing risk more than you fear regret. Stop ignoring wisdom and instruction. And stop waiting for permission to pursue your assignment. Each of these habits are chains. They may feel comfortable, but they keep you bound. And the longer you keep them, the heavier they get. Poverty is not just about what's in your bank account. It's about what's in your belief system. When you stop practicing poverty, you start walking toward prosperity. So here's the challenge. Look at your life. Identify what you need to stop. Because if you want the blessing of abundance, you've got to make room for it. Stop the habits that keep you small and start walking in the mindset that makes you great. Because poverty is not your destiny, purpose is. If you want to escape poverty, one of the most critical shifts you must make is learning how to stop consuming without producing. Poverty thrives where there's constant consumption, but little to no creation. Let me explain it this way. Consumers spend money, but producers make money. Consumers use what others create, but producers build what others use. And in life, the difference between poverty and prosperity is often the difference between being a constant taker and becoming a consistent creator. Think about it. From the moment most people wake up, they're consuming entertainment, social media, coffee someone else made, clothes someone else designed, cars someone else manufactured. None of these things are bad in themselves, but when your entire life is focused on what you can take in instead of what you can create, you position yourself on the side of those who spend rather than those who earn. And if all you ever do is spend, you will eventually run out. See, producers are the ones who provide. They're the reason jobs exist, businesses exist, and opportunities exist. Every wealthy person you can think of became wealthy because they produced something of value that others were willing to exchange money for. Producers are problem solvers. They look around, see a need, and create a solution. Consumers, on the other hand, wait for someone else to solve their problem, and then they pay for it. That cycle will always keep them behind. Let's make this real practical. If you're always consuming entertainment but never producing knowledge, wisdom, or even your own content, you're spending your time making someone else rich while keeping yourself broke. When you watch a TV show, somebody's getting paid. When you scroll through an app, somebody's making money off your attention. When you buy fast food every day, somebody else's business is prospering while yours doesn't even exist. The question is, when are you going to flip the script? When are you going to stop being the customer all the time and start being the creator of something others want to buy, learn from, or experience? Wealth is not built by those who only consume. It's built by those who produce. Producers understand that money is nothing more than a certificate of performance. It's a receipt that says you created something valuable for somebody else. If you're not producing, then you're not performing at the level that creates wealth. And here's the truth. You don't have to produce the next billion-dollar invention. You just have to start producing something, an idea, a skill, a service, a product that moves you from the consuming class into the producing class. Now, some people hear this and say, but I don't know what I can produce. I don't have a business. I don't have an invention. That's just poverty thinking talking. You can produce value wherever you are. If you have a job, you can produce excellence. You can produce efficiency. You can produce solutions that make your boss's life easier, your company more profitable, or your customers happier. That kind of production doesn't go unnoticed, and it always positions you for increase. If you're unemployed, you can still produce. You can produce knowledge by reading, studying, and building skills. You can produce influence by serving in your community, volunteering, or helping people solve problems with the gifts you already have. Production is not limited to entrepreneurs. It's the mindset of anyone who refuses to let their life be defined by endless consumption. Let me tell you something. Consumption is easy. Anybody can sit down and watch TV all day. Anybody can spend hours scrolling through social media. Anybody can eat, spend, and waste. But producing requires discipline. Producing requires vision. Producing requires faith. You've got to believe that what you have to offer is worth something to somebody else. And here's the good news it is. God never put you on this earth empty. He gave you gifts, talents, and abilities. But if all you do is consume, those gifts get buried. And buried gifts don't bless anybody, not you, not your family, and not the world. You want to escape poverty, become a producer. Instead of just listening to music, learn how to create it. Instead of just buying clothes, learn how to design or sell them. Instead of just scrolling through social media, learn how to build a platform where your message can impact others. Instead of just spending money at someone else's business, learn how to start your own. When you produce, you change your relationship with money. Money stops being something you chase and starts being something that chases you. Because money always follows value, and value is always produced, never consumed. At the end of the day, you've got a choice. You can stay a consumer, always waiting for the next paycheck, the next sale, the next discount, and you'll stay broke. Or you can step into your role as a producer, adding value, solving problems, creating solutions, and building wealth. Consumers spend wealth. Producers build it. And if you want to break free from poverty, you've got to make the decision to stop consuming without producing and start creating the life and the future you were destined for. Excuses are expensive. They cost you time, they cost you opportunities, and they cost you money. Every excuse you make builds another brick in the wall between you and your destiny. And here's the truth. Poverty is not just the result of a lack of resources. Most of the time, it's the result of a lack of responsibility. When you excuse yourself from responsibility, you also excuse yourself from prosperity. Let's be real. Most people are broke not because they can't do better, but because they've convinced themselves that they can't. They've got a reason for everything. I didn't grow up in the right family. I don't have the right education. I don't have enough money to start. I don't know the right people. I'm too old. I'm too young. I'm too busy. Excuses sound good, but they don't change your reality. Excuses might give you comfort for a moment, but they rob you of progress for a lifetime. Here's what you've got to understand. Excuses are the language of the poor. Winners don't waste time explaining why they didn't win. They figure out how to win the next round. Excuses are nothing but dressed up lies you tell yourself to feel better about staying the same. While you're soothing yourself with an excuse, life keeps moving forward. Opportunities don't wait for you to get ready. Success doesn't stop and say, "Oh, let me wait until he feels like trying." No, opportunity passes right by the excuse makers and lands in the hands of the action takers. See, when you make excuses, you train your mind to accept mediocrity as your standard. And the problem with that is mediocrity doesn't attract wealth. Nobody pays premium prices for average. Nobody rewards excuses with abundance. If you want to change your financial life, you got to stop explaining why you're not where you want to be and start executing on what will get you where you want to go. Let me make it plain. Excuses don't pay bills. Excuses don't create opportunities. Excuses don't feed your family. The landlord doesn't care about your excuse. The light company doesn't care about your excuse. Life doesn't reward excuses. It rewards results, and results only come when you take ownership. Ownership means you stop blaming your parents, your boss, your government, or your circumstances. Ownership means you stop saying, "I count," and start asking, "How can I?" Ownership means you stop waiting for someone else to make it happen for you and decide that with God's help, you're going to make it happen yourself. I know it's tempting to lean on excuses because they give you something to hide behind. They protect your ego from failure. If you can convince yourself the reason you didn't succeed is because of something outside of your control, then you don't have to feel bad about not trying. But that's exactly why excuses keep you broke. Because as long as you're blaming something else, you never look in the mirror. And the truth is, the only person standing between you and your next level is the one you see in the mirror every morning. Excuses are expensive because they waste the one thing you can never get back: time. Every day you make an excuse is another day you could have been moving closer to your dream. Every year you blame your circumstances is another year you'll never recover. Wealthy people value time more than money because they know money can be replaced, but time cannot. Broke people waste time making excuses, and that's why they stay broke. Now, here's the good news. The moment you stop making excuses and start taking ownership, everything changes. Because excuses create bondage, but ownership creates freedom. Ownership gives you power. When you own your mistakes, you also own your ability to fix them. When you own your failures, you also own your ability to learn from them. And when you own your future, you refuse to let anybody else dictate what's possible for you. You might not control how you started, but you absolutely control how you finish. You might not control every situation, but you always control your response. And if you choose to respond with excuses, you stay stuck. But if you choose to respond with responsibility, you rise. So here's the challenge you're starting today. Cut the excuses. Don't explain why you can't. Figure out how you can. Don't talk about what you don't have. Use what you do have. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Move in the conditions you've got. Because here's the truth. Excuses might sound convincing to you, but nobody else is buying them. Excuses won't open doors, but execution will. If you want to escape poverty, you've got to understand that excuses are expensive, but ownership is profitable. Excuses drain you. Ownership multiplies you. Excuses keep you broke in your mindset and in your money, but ownership sets you free to prosper. Take ownership of your results and watch how quickly your excuses fade while your opportunities multiply. Who you run with determines how far you rise. You can't expect to live a life of abundance if you're constantly surrounded by people who think small, talk small, and dream small. Poverty is contagious, and so is prosperity. The people closest to you are either pulling you up or dragging you down, and the sooner you recognize this truth, the sooner you can break free from environments that keep you broke. Let's be honest. Limited thinkers always have reasons why something can't be done. They'll tell you your dream is too big. They'll say, people like us don't do things like that. They'll warn you not to take risks, not to step out, not to believe for more. And if you stay around that long enough, their limitations will become your limitations. Their doubts will become your doubts. Their small vision will shrink your vision. That's why you've got to be intentional about who you allow to speak into your life. Think about it. Eagles don't fly with pigeons. Lions don't run with sheep. If you want to rise higher, you can't spend all your time with people who are content crawling on the ground. Limited thinkers will always try to convince you to come back down to their level because your growth exposes their comfort zone. When you start aiming higher, they feel insecure, so they respond by trying to clip your wings. And if you let them, they will. Poverty is not just about money. It's a mindset. If you stay around people who complain all the time, you'll start complaining too. If you stay around people who settle for less, you'll start settling too. If you stay around people who always see problems and never see solutions, you'll start missing opportunities that are right in front of you. Limited thinkers live in a cycle of lack because they've convinced themselves that's all they can have. But prosperity-minded people live in a cycle of increase because they see possibilities where others only see problems. Here's the key. You become like the company you keep. If you walk with wise people, you'll get wiser. If you walk with wealthy people, you'll learn how to think, act, and move differently. But if you walk with limited thinkers, you'll inherit their limits. You can't build a prosperous life when you're surrounded by people who are satisfied with mediocrity. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm not saying you have to cut off everyone in your life who isn't successful. What I'm saying is this: you need to be careful about who has influence over your thoughts, your conversations, and your decisions. If you want to break out of poverty, you need people around you who challenge you to grow, who push you to think bigger, who encourage you to take responsibility, and who model what prosperity looks like. You need voices in your life that call you higher, not hold you lower. This might be uncomfortable because sometimes